I grew up in Maine, but I have had the opportunity to live all over the United States. Had my working career in the ski industry and in the construction industry. And I was working in construction at the time that LifeVantage came across my desk. Had a small general contracting outfit, and I was kind of living the American dream, I guess. We do have a lot of opportunities here in this country, but I was kind of had built my own little prison for myself where I didn't really get to participate in my family's lifestyle. I had a 2-year-old daughter at the time, and I worked in a situation where I told people it would be dark to dark. So I'd get up in the morning, I'd head off to whatever job or jobs I had going on. And by the time I got home at night, it was dark. So dark on both ends of my day. And with a 2-year-old, didn't get to see her a lot. And didn't, I didn't have a way really out of this before my daughter was going to be out of our lives. So into my life comes network marketing. A number of circumstances come together, and a number of things had to happen. First, with me uh, having my own experience with the product, but eventually never having any experience here, wanting to really understand this industry and where this company was going. Now, fortunately, having, like I mentioned, no experience in network marketing at all, was fortunate enough to fall in with this company that has a fantastic product in Protandem, a fantastic validation behind it that's really easy to verify. If you're talking about an ABC News report or maybe some white papers that were authored by some big universities. But mainly for me, it was mentorship and my wife. It was a group of folks who built the foundation of this company, really rescued it from a big, massive failure in retail, and were able to apply some things they knew about the direct sales industry from doing it in different companies and bring it together here in LifeVantage as a system for people to follow. A system that if you have no experience whatsoever in this industry or in sales of any kind, it kind of takes just a simple what to do style manual and some skills and some principles you're going to hear about tonight, and lets you apply your own experience, your own personality, the way you might go out and interact with the world and be able to actually do network marketing. And what you have the opportunity to do on these calls is learn from and to go to our live events that will be, we're going to have 3 of them in St. George, Utah. So buildingdepth.com, you're going to want to get on that website. Someone I think will drop the link in the chat. That's going to map out all your live events that are run by this organization. We're the field end of what we do here at LifeVantage. And then there's going to be a couple of big corporate events to attend next year, but that's going to lay out when and where we need to be. But at these trainings, we get to hear about this system that we all applied in our own way that we interact with our own backgrounds. And we get to hear tonight just little snippets of pieces of that system from a whole panel of executive distributors. And at the live event, it's a deeper dive into each one of these subjects. So with that, we're going to get right into this and hear from our first block of speakers. And basically, we're going to start with an outline of our system and then talking about how we might do a presentation and then compensation. So first, we're going to hear from executive distributor. This guy was one of these people that was in the room that rescued the company. We owe him a big thank you, along with some others that LifeVantage and this opportunity even hung out to exist for some of us to be around. He and his wife have built a huge organization, and the reflection of the volume that just might be in that group is the number of executive distributors that lie in the teams beneath these guys. And it's because of their leadership that they were able to build leader backed by leader, backed by another leader, backed by another leader in depth. And that is probably the chief concept that we're trying to get across to people in building depth is how to build a stable business out of this. And these two have demonstrated just that. So with that, talk about our overall system. And what we do here is Dave Madison from Colorado. He may or may not be in Colorado, but hey, buddy,
No, I'm
over to
not.
you.
I'm not. It's 72 degrees where I am right now, Chris. I'm not wearing my parka. That's for sure. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we've had some fun. There's no question about it. We broke another EC2 yesterday and the day before, and so we're in hunt mode right now. We're in Oklahoma, and I'm looking forward to seeing my wife on this Zoom because I always like to see her face when I'm not with her. But thank you very much for your intro. Um, and your thoughts are correct, and how you bring this to the table, Chris, because you yourself and your wife are absolute masters at this because it's what created your success, as we've all seen and witnessed. And your growth in this business is impeccable. So I'm super glad to be here with you doing this tonight, and everyone else on the team. But I certainly appreciate you and your beautiful wife. So thanks so much. We are David Joanne Madison. We are out of Colorado. We are also out of Tennessee. We have been in this industry for the majority of our life. Never seen the success like we have seen with LifeVantage. And coming from an engineering background and coming from a wife that was blessed to be able to be a stay-at-home mom, and then since then we've had multiple businesses in and out of this industry. We recognize that there are some key elements that make this the difference. And for us, it's always been the element of number one priority of if we're going to put time and effort into something, not only are we going to reap a benefit financially from it, but what is it going to create to ultimately root back in our portfolio of life called time, and at what rate? Because we only have 24 hours. And the only way to get that back, I learned at a young age, is to buy it. And how do you do that? Well, you have to leverage yourself. Well, they often say you got to have money to make money. Well, that's not necessarily totally true, but nevertheless, it's what we're all taught. So going against that grain is kind of where we've always thought, because I figured if anybody else can have that kind of freedom, why can't I? So for us, that was always the driving factor. And then when we started to realize what the benefits of these principles and behaviors we're talking about here with building depth are in the overall scheme of building life. I'm talking about raising children. I'm talking about being a member of your community, being in a leadership role, maybe at church, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, in all of your elements of life. Why are these so critical? Well, it's because it's like the foundation that Chris and I used to build in the years of construction. That foundation is way more important to be poured when there's not a snowstorm outside. It's much better to be doing it when it has a greater opportunity to cure correctly. So this industry has many tentacles to it and many weather changes, but ultimately, if you can place it in a place that it's not dependent on your ability to perform, but you're allowing it to be performing in everyone else's ability, now you've got something of strength. So we've been able to target this business because of the supremacy of this product that no longer relies on my testimonial. I don't have to worry about the finances anymore because it's rang the bell a couple times, sits in the NASDAQ, and I can see the transparency because it's publicly traded. I don't have to worry about some of the the things that I can't control. The things that I can control. Woo! There goes my old flipper on. That was my phone that just fell off my dash. What I sense and what I realize through the equation is this. There are some things that we can control and some things that we can't. And in this case, you can control these circumstances we're talking about. So you're going to listen to a lot of people tonight that are going to talk about the specifics of how we drive forward with these action plans that are truly the disciplines we all have to have. Number one, let's start off with let's do our own part. Our part is 15 presentations a month. And if you're going to run like many people are right now, you're going to do 15,000 a month mentality. You're going to have more than 15 a month. Anybody that's cranked it up and achieved, everyone that you're going to listen to tonight, I guarantee you did more than 15 a month. But for you to start off 15 presentations a month, which is telling the story of the company, telling your story, and finding out how we can implement the material aspects of this to pay for the product and to pay income into the trip that I'm on. And, I've stopped at 4 gas stations today. There's an expense to building any business. And then staying in control of that business is really critical, because you don't want to be in a place where you're going to be the manager of, like we're often used to, climbing the ladder in a normal employment alignment. But we're going to be in a place where we want to have everyone else in control of their life. So how do we teach, train, and mentor that forward? And that root foundational element that people are going to depend on you as that leader stems from always doing what you say you're going to do. And why is that so important? Why is that so critical? Well, everyone has to trust you. And if it doesn't, then people hesitate and stall their alignment of life, of moving forward. And then you're going to have to be in a place where you're going to have to participate in greater form than what you normally would for your job. Meaning you not only have to show up for your local meetings, but you have to show up for the bigger meetings, the traveling meetings, the events that make the difference in your people's believability to this being real. I can't tell you the number of times that I come back from a conference. I got just last night. I had a new person on Rob's opportunity call last night, and I got the text and was like, oh my gosh, it was an amazing. Thank you, this team. Rob and Summer, you're awesome. Thank you for having that opportunity for people in our organization to be a part of. That is something I was able to promote that, which is the key principle in everything we do, promoting others to do what they're not aware of they should be doing. And so when you do that, you're putting yourself outside the realm of your success. You're putting everyone else in the middle. And by doing so, now you're putting everybody else in a place of their own leadership and taking yourself out of it. Never to walk away from it, but to embrace and to empower others to rise above their own thought process is the key to all success in every business, and certainly most importantly in this one. So you're going to hear from some great people tonight. I'm going to roll this over to Miss Cynthia Greenwald, coming from the great state of Pennsylvania. I'm not sure what state you're in too, sweetheart, because you're a traveling monkey. I love it. I love your presence in our business, and thank you so much for your help and support. I'm sending it over to you, my dear.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Dave. Your inspiration has been a huge impact on me since I arrived in the family of LifeVantage 7 years now. And it was about 8 months later that I got connected to what Building Depth has to offer. Some of you know my story. It's 30 something years already in network marketing. And I'd had about a handful, maybe 4 7-figure earner mentors over my 3 decades prior to seeing LifeVantage. I was very fortunate to be part of an early stage pioneering company that I didn't know publicly traded was a key point. So back then I said yes to a privately held company. It was top 10. We were cranking. We were a startup. We were excited. But behind the closed doors, with no transparency access, we were falling apart, but we didn't know it because they didn't have to tell us. So when that closed overnight, my team, all of the about close to 6,000 people on my team, all of us lost our dream in one little flash. And I said, oh my gosh, I will never do network marketing again unless it's publicly traded, has a pioneering breakthrough, something that a category creator, that was my thing, could not be something someone else could buy down the street. If they can buy down the street, it's not going to be multi-generational. It might be a nice 5-year run. And I was not looking for a 5-year run. I was looking for something that would outlive me, creating wealth beyond my lifetime, because I knew that's what was possible. And then I also wanted to find out early enough that it was not yet a household name, known as pre-momentum stage. I looked for 13 years, found nothing. I cut my little checklist there. And I remember thinking, so basically what I'm looking for is like Apple, before anyone knew who Steve Jobs was. Oh, and he decided to use an affiliate marketing revenue share model with the average person and to open up new markets. I was like, what? I don't think that's ever going to happen. So I'm just going to go to what I know, which was coaching, consulting. Life as an athlete, coaches always made the difference. My dad is a very successful leadership coach. My brother's gone on to be a very successful executive coach, which is about empowering people to see the best version of themselves. I was doing that, trading time for money, meaning January 1st, my income would go to 0 and I got to do it all over again. But at least I loved it. and I was making a nice 6-figure income, but I was trapped and could not be free in that model. And it was Sarah Smith. Actually, I decided I needed to find something I could add to what I was doing that was sustainable. I thought it was going to be some online version of my courses, because I wrote some extraordinary breakthrough impact programs for my clients, my entrepreneur clients. So I thought that's what I was going to do. Something, an evergreen training platform was not network marketing, because I'd already looked, found nothing that would meet my standards. So I thought it was actually impossible to find what I was looking for. So I almost missed it because I'd ruled out that it was possible. And Sarah Smith hung in there with me. And I'll tell you, my topic is presentation. And it was, she invited me to look as a cheerleader and a supporter, because she'd heard I'd been in the industry. I was supporting her. I was referring people to her. And I said, I can't do it because a third of my clients were in network marketing, and I didn't want to lose the people from 12 different companies coming to me. Do you know that it was when she said, hey, remember, meet people where they are. If they want to be your cheerleader, be happy with that. She wasn't trying to make me into anything other than where I could meet her. And I was referring people to her. And she said, would you like to, I was thinking, would you like to see how I take care of your referrals, take care of the people that you send to me, so that you can kind of see the arc of the conversation that I walk them through. So that's how she invited me to my first presentation of LifeVantage. And it was in the presentation that I saw it. I mean, she gave me kind of like, hey, the ABC News report was kind of all I saw, and I was ready to refer people to her. But that presentation is where I said, oh my gosh, it let me see something that I couldn't just see in a passing conversation. So the thing I love about the presentation aspect of this business, of this system that we have, is it's 15 or more presentations a month is such a crucial thing. If you think about it if you pan out as a business owner, I have a friend who in the residential real estate business said to me, the model to make 6 figures a year, to break $100,000 a year as a residential real estate agent through this one training program that tons of agents take, is you have to be willing to make 100 phone calls every day before noon. And then they're having dozens of like conversations and presentations, which are like another thing in business might be an impression, like impressions on the eyeball, on the television, how many ads are being seen. So if you really think about it, 100 presentations, and I don't know if they do 100 presentations a day, but 100 reach out calls to be able to do dozens of conversations, overview pitches a day. So I thought, that's 4 a week if we do 15 or more presentations a month. And I thought, wait a minute, I was willing to do 10 presentations a week for my first couple months. That was personal. I did 40 presentations to my own people. But once I got a team, I was still doing that many presentations because my team would say, hey, can you come meet Sally? Can you, kind of show the business the way, want her to see it the way I saw it. And so Cynthia, will you present? So the beautiful thing about doing 10, 15 or 10 a week or whatever the number is it's how many times are we telling the LifeVantage story? And I liken the LifeVantage story, even though it's 3 parts, tell my story, which is like what called me to be part of this. For me, it was this January 1, I go to 0, which means I'm trapped doing what I'm doing and I wanted freedom. So that's the story, whatever our personal reason is for saying, yes, why did this get my heart connected? The other piece of it is tell the company story. We have a story that no one in network marketing has ever been able to tell and probably will never have happen, in that we were failing in retail. We were not a network marketing company. We were a biotech company, a penny stock of all things, so traded publicly, failing in retail, and ABC comes in because they read about us in another source and do this expose that changes the river of this whole scenario, and then moved it out of retail into a word of mouth model because the story needs to be told. I mean, there isn't anyone else that can say that. So that's the company story and how we've gone on to create a breakthrough activator. And then the third part is how we get paid. And this is the piece where people can get kind of funny. I'm like, I can explain it in 3 minutes. I just show the average income earnings statement. I mean, presentations can take 30 minutes, an hour, 15, 12 minutes. It's just the door opening. It's basically I'm opening the door to what I'm about to find out if they want to stick their head in further and learn more. But what's so great about how we get paid, and I'll end on this, is that we want to be responsible for that. If 80% of the people in network marketing are doing the product peddler model, that's most likely what everyone we talk to has seen. Because the 10 or 20% who are opening countries are so busy talking to leaders, they're not going to networking and chamber events peddling. So everyone that we talk to, if they've run into someone who does network marketing, almost always who they've met is the Mary Kay lady or insert whatever product being sold. And they think, if I'm doing network marketing, they think I'm peddling a product and that's how I'm getting paid, which is pennies or dollars, and that doesn't sound very interesting. So I love the average earning statement, because in that one little square, here's what I say. Hey, as I wrap up this conversation, I want to share with you, I know you want me to win. This is how I say, I know you want me to win. They're like, yeah, what you're up to. What are you doing? I said, I want you to see this is the best way I've ever found to have people in a quick snap understand what I'm actually doing here. Is I'm in leadership development and mentoring and supporting people to find the goal on this chart that will set them free. And they're like, what? No one's ever showed network marketing to them that looks like leadership development, that looks like mentorship and empowerment. So that's our job, to make sure they get out of their programming from the past, thinking we're peddlers, to, so Cynthia's looking to partner with people and mentor them. I would love to find someone that can help me put, I don't know, Iowa on the map or Spain on the map, and work with that person and help them achieve what's the average earning on this chart. And that I've had people say to me, wait a minute, that sounds really different than anything my other friends are doing in network marketing. And that's when they start to be fascinated. The walls can drop, they're open, and they're either going to refer me somebody, or they might say, okay, tell me more. So that's the fun about the presentation. Tell our story, the company story, and how we paid, and then find out, hey, are you open to learning more? So with that, I'm going to hand it over to, I love that the baton from me goes right over to my spiritual brother, Mark Harris, whose story, first LifeVantage Academy, maybe this is my second one ever. You were the presenter and have been such a source of inspiration for me growing up in this business here at LifeVantage. Over to you, Mark Harris.
I remember that well. What a great event that was. And so that's a great segue to talk about our upcoming LifeVantage Academies. Go to Big Blue Calendar and get registered for those. They are transformational. Like, without the LVAs that we enjoyed year after year after year, both receiving and speaking, there's no way we would be where we are. That is the path to freedom. And it's the path to fantastic relationships that, frankly, we will carry into eternity. And I love that part of our story and our journey, the fact that we got to rub elbows with the best of the best. And LifeVantage has been that for us. Like, this is our first rodeo, Krista and me, Krista and me. She'd skewer me if she were here. We were career missionaries overseas, and still feel vocationally still drawn in that direction, still do a ton of ministry, not quite as much overseas anymore. But we came back to the States in 2006 during the housing market collapse, pregnant, broke, and I was sick. What could go wrong? And I found myself working in an orange apron for 4 years and a bit. And that was miserable. And during that time, I became intimately familiar with the 40-50 plan that we were taught in high school. And which goes something like this: a product of the Industrial Revolution. You go to school and you make good grades so you can get a good job. And then you apply that knowledge, hopefully somewhere, and your student loan debt, in a position, a vocation, that you work 40, 50 hours a week. Well, I was working way more than that. And the story goes, for those of us Gen Xers and even down to some millennials, you do that for 40, 50, 60 years, only to realize on that golden day called retirement that you can't live on 40 to 50% of what you were earning when you were working. And I was stupefied coming back to the States, looking around at the absolute disaster that plan has been in our culture. And I was working 2 jobs. I had a freelance graphic design business, and I was a kitchen designer, and I was picking up side hustles left, right, and center. I'd have driven a Jamaican cab if we had one. I mean, I was doing it all. And my mother-in-law is the one that brought this to us through an ABC primetime investigative report and a little dude named Seth standing in her dining room. And I could not have appreciated the enormity of what that opportunity would bring for us. It's brought time and financial freedom to do the things that we feel God has called us to do. And so I get to share a little bit about that compensation plan, how we get paid tonight. I'm going to start my timer. I'm already well into my 5 minutes. Shall we set it for, what should we set it for? 4? Now that I'm already started. Okay, start. So many of you have done network marketing before. Krista and I did not. We were never ever first timers, and so we had no idea what we were doing. And I had a pretty fantastic transformational story with the product. And we started making money because we just did what our upline told us to do. We were coachable and we started talking to people and having people in our home. And that worked. And we were in the black in 6 weeks. Amazing. Who does that? I don't know. Nobody that I knew. And so I started realizing, wait a minute, this thing's legit. Like we were making $500. And if you look at our income disclosure statement, you can see you can do that pretty quickly in our rank advancement. And we did 90 days. Results not typical. But we were working our tails off in the nooks and crannies of our life. And I thought, man, if we just keep doing that, this thing's going to work. This thing's going to go. And so I became a student of network marketing. I became a student of the products because that was important to me. We had a lot of practitioners in our network, a lot of clinicians and researchers, and they were asking hard questions, and I didn't know the answer, and I wanted to know the answer. So I went to work on the science stuff, but more importantly, I became a student of this industry, and I discovered guys like Robert Kiyosaki. If you've never read Rich Dad Poor Dad, or the Cash Flow Quadrant, or the Business of the 21st Century, I want to highly recommend that you do that. Find one of those books because Robert Kiyosaki not only is a leader in business entrepreneurship and personal development thought in business, but he's a huge proponent of network marketing as a quick path to leveraged income. I didn't know what leveraged income was growing up. I didn't know what it was as a 45-year-old man looking at a network marketing opportunity. Now, it's been said, that once you understand what leverage is, you will run through a brick wall to get it. And that's true. I'm not interested in linear anymore. It's fine. If you're a salesman and you're making big bucks, awesome. But as Cynthia just said, January 1, you go back to zero. And I don't care how successful you are as a financial advisor, or, unless you're selling insurance and on a short list of retention of those repeat customers, you got to go out and kill it again once you sell it the first time. And so when I began to understand, wait a minute, I'm building a pipeline here. I'm not just shooting customers. I'm not just schlepping products and services. I'm building a pipeline. And the thing I had experienced personally was transformation, like mentally and physically and emotionally. And I realized, wait a minute, this is not just any fly-by-night snake oil kind of thing. If I do this well, thousands, maybe millions of lives will be changed. And I get to create leveraged generational wealth for my children's children. Win-win, 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 win-win-win. Mentally, financially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, relationally. Come on. Where can you do that? So I had intention to pull up some slides tonight. I'm not going to do that. I do want to offer a compelling sort of panorama of our economic landscape in 2025. There's loads of side hustles. Like you can't open a social media app without getting bombarded with opportunities and thought leaders, and there's great stuff, right? But as far as offering something that's going to create time and financial freedom and leverage, I would argue there's nothing better than an ethical, integrous network marketing opportunity, as Cynthia just mentioned. And in the panoply, in the universe of network marketing, I would say arguably that we have found the best because nobody has what we have. Nobody has our leadership. Nobody has our products. Nobody has our compensation plan. Nobody has our story, which is powerful. And frankly, I just think that if you're looking for a place to be at the right place at the right time with the right people doing the right thing for the right reasons, you couldn't ask for something more sovereignly orchestrated than what we have. Um, if you're not familiar with the income earnings statement that we submit to the Federal Trade Commission every year, you need to do that. You need to look on that, the commensurate ranks and income levels, and become familiar enough. You don't have to know the 17 ways we get paid. People are already saturated when you're in your presentations. But if you pull out that sheet of paper and you understand that that average level of income is commensurate with that rank advance and that level of success, we can show people how to do that. And as Cynthia said, is there a number that's compelling on that sheet that would make doing this, sharing this information worth your time? Not schlepping products on social media. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about looking for people who are open, right? And praying and looking. I'm over time. My 4 minutes is now 5 minutes and 30 seconds. So with that, so hard to do 5 minutes. I'm going to pass it over to my buddy, Dan Mollering out of Boston, Massachusetts, executive consultant. Dan, you there, buddy?
I am. Thank you, Mark, so much. And thank you to all of the speakers that have already spoken this evening. Powerful, powerful stuff, guys. I hope you're taking notes tonight. We do these calls every Tuesday or every first and third Tuesday of the month. We've been doing them for years, and they're all so powerful. This is why you definitely want to be on these calls, telling your groups about these calls, staying in control of your business, and taking notes. Again, my name is Daniel Mollering. I'm coming to you from just outside of Boston proper, in a city called Woburn, Massachusetts, about 9 miles from Fenway Park, and Harvard and all that stuff. Previously in construction, been with the company since launch, and we're coming on 17 years here, so it's crazy, to see what has happened in that amount of time. But yeah, I was in construction most of my life, previous to LifeVantage finding me. I don't want to say that I found LifeVantage. It found me. It found all of us, right? And to be honest with you, I loved what I did, but realized it came with a high risk to my structural well-being if I were to fall off a roof or a ladder or anything like that, and inevitably affect my ability to provide for a family. So I was looking for other opportunities, if you will, leveraged income, like Mark was just discussing, right? I had no idea the world of network marketing that would open up to me, like Cynthia so eloquently described. And I'm sitting there, 28 years old, thinking this couldn't possibly work, but what if it does? This is the one time where I was just like, what if it doesn't work? Well, what if it does? Well, what if I waste time and money? Well, you already waste time and money all the time already. Why don't you just switch it to this positive way of thinking for a while? And I'm glad that I did, because the leadership of this company and the leaders that you're hearing from tonight paved the way for us to be able to help give you guys that, I guess you could say, a shortcut. This is the shortcut, guys. The 5 principles of behaviors that you're hearing about tonight, that is the shortcut. If there was a quicker way to do it, we would teach you that. I promise, right? And I'm honored tonight to be able to cover one of those key topics, which is staying in control of your business. Now, that's a symposium in and of itself, right? But if we're breaking it down to just a couple of nuggets, what does that really look like? Staying in control of your business can be staying in control of your emotions, staying in control of the flow of the information, staying in control of whether you go to people or people come to you. You want to go to people, right? Because if you wait for them to come to you, the chances are they're not coming, right? Because life will life, and they'll get busy, and you've given your control away. You've given your power away, right? There's many ways that you can stay in control of your business. Tonight, I want to focus on staying in control of the flow of information. And the reason I want to bring that up is just because of a call that I literally just got off of before this one. It was a great call. And at the end, the individual wanted some information. They wanted to know a little bit more about the products, a little bit more about the comp plan and the system that's in place, right? Like, now, what a great call for them to be able to come to, right? Now, initially, the consultant just wanted to link sling and just said, well, we got this pre-recorded thing on the product and we got this pre-recorded opportunity meeting. We got this pre-recorded thing on the compensation plan. I'm like, hold on, let's stay in control of our business, because if you look at all of those links, that is that is just shy of 3 hours worth of video. I do not think that person who's already extremely busy from the conversation that we just had is going to have time to review all of that, if any of it, within the next 48 hours, and time is of the essence. So let's stay in control. They wanted to know a little bit more about the compensation plan, income earnings statement, right? That's where that comes in, just like Mark was just talking about. Right, when the minutia of how that money comes out into that average column, then we can do a deep dive into the workbook and show how it shakes out, and even give examples on how it builds out to MC1, MC2, MC3, EC1, and beyond. Right, we can get into that minutia. Now they want to know a little bit more about the product line. So, there are some great snippet videos and highlight videos that are out there that are anywhere between 6 to 12 minutes, right? 6 to 15 minutes, depending on what you're looking for. Some of them are very product specific on a singular product, and some of them cover the entire portfolio of what we have, of like, this is what we offer, and this is the message of activation, encompassed in like a 10-minute breakdown. Like, these things are available. The reason that I say that is this: could you imagine if I hopped off the Zoom and said, this person has got you covered from here, they will follow up with you, they will send you all of the information that you were requesting, right? Without just checking in with them first to say, okay, that was a great call, what are you thinking of sending? Well, this, and this. Like, hold on, right? Like, that could have fallen through, and who knows? Maybe the person would have watched all 3 hours and was psyched and joined, or maybe they would have thought, now I've got to go duplicate this process over and over and over again if I decide to go do this business. If you have every interaction taking 3 hours, it's going to take an awfully long time for you and your team to get to where you need to be. So we are trying to compress time by staying in control of our business. And another way that we can really do that in that moment right there, when we're looking for what to send them, is becoming a very good listener. That's really what it is about. A solid way to stay in control of your business and knowing what they need next is by listening to what they tell you, because they're going to tell you what they need. Seek less to be understood. Seek to understand before being understood. Okay? Use that philosophy and stay in control of your business with the flow of the information, and I promise your business will take on a different, new level of professionalism. I hope that's helpful. I'm going to pass this over to my sister from another mister, Summer Smolik, out of North Las Vegas, EC2. One of the most incredible leaders that I've ever met. Incredible woman, incredible friend, incredible wife, and incredible mother. And I hope, no, seriously, get ready to start writing, because you're going to get fire hosed here. So, all right, Summer, take it away.
Oh my gosh, Dan, thank you to you and all the other leaders that are on this call. You guys have significantly impacted our life in such a way that we could never repay you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what's crazy about it is that you guys continue to show up. And now I know why you do the first and third Tuesday every single month, because of this life that we've been able to create. You just want to pay it forward to as many families as you possibly can. And thank you. I have so much gratitude for that, you guys, because I was a burnout medical device rep. I was on my hands and knees, hoping, wishing, wanting, praying that something would come in my life, and my body was failing on all aspects. And I'm grateful that the greatest man in the world, who's my husband, Rob, I'm so grateful that he shared an opportunity with me. He shared the whole story. We sat down, watched the ABC Primetime Report. And the reason why I'm grateful about the whole story is because if he would have just shared products with me, I would be feeling great. I'm closer to 50 than I am 40, and I've never felt better in my life, but I would still be burnt out in the grind and not having the opportunity to be a mom. We have a little girl who's 7, who is just the love of our life. We love her. She's been to 41 states, 10 countries, Mexico 5 times, and she is 7. So go figure on that. And it's because of all of this, and it's because of the art of the follow-up that all of this has happened. And then we've taught, there we go, taught so many people. There you go, Dan, write that down. Okay. We have taught people how to do that through the process, because the invite and follow up are some of the hardest parts for people because it's psychological. 95% of this is all mindset. 5% is just mechanics of it. I'm already anticipating following up with somebody to enroll them if they're not already ready to enroll right then. Sometimes there's certain types of people that do not need to have a follow up. They are ready to go right after you share that with them. Please make sure you just ask them, is this something that you're ready to do? We set expectations for people, but the first part of the follow-up is you have to possess a paper calendar. If you do not have a paper calendar, you're going to forget people. And when you're sharing this with people, have the intentions that yes, you will follow up, or you're going to be doing a disservice to the people that you're sharing this with if you do not reach out to them. Because guess what? Some of those people, the majority of those people, are not going to reach back out to you. Life is going to get in their way. They're terrified as to what they're going to have to be doing or talking to you about anyway. So they're not going to be doing that, or worried about what you're going to be thinking about them, but they're too busy. Stop worrying about what other people think about you. Okay. That is so silly, because they're too busy worrying about what you're thinking about them instead of them thinking about you. There we go. So hopefully I said that right. But anyway, during the presentation, I'm already setting up expectations. The follow-up is just there to continue the conversation, because it's already like you're drinking from a fire hose when you first hear about this anyway, because people are so excited to hear this information as solutions to problems. You have to believe that for the other person to believe that this is a solution to their problems, that they've been on their hands and knees, hoping, wishing, wanting, praying, that would come into their life. So they're drinking from a fire hose. At the end of the conversation, I ask them, what questions do you have? Write that down. What questions do you have? I don't say, do you have questions? That's not the right question. What questions do you have? And then I'm going to tell them, I'm going to send over some more information to you. Dan just so eloquently told you how to do that. He taught you how to do that. So then I will say, I'm going to send over some more information. What does your schedule look like either later on today or tomorrow to touch base? And for just a few minutes, I've already spent 30 minutes with that person, or whatever that time frame happened to be, according to Cynthia. Thank you. That was beautiful, my friend. Already had that time frame. So this follow-up is going to be shorter, just a few minutes, just to see the questions that you have. It ain't no thing but a chicken wing. I just want to see where you're at with this and whatever I can do to help support you. Then you continue to leverage the tools that are available to you. Guess what? First and third Tuesday, your weekly calls, your events, you bring people to them, because it's going to take them 4 to 6 times to see this before 81% of people will actually make a decision on what they want to do about this. You guys, keep this simple, but you know more than the brand new person. So guide them and support them along through that process. I am going to pass this over to a couple that is really near and dear to our heart, but we're going to get Chris. Sarah's on an airplane, and Chris, you bring so much value to people. Thank you so much for being the host with the mostest. We appreciate all the things that you do, and take it away, my friend.
Thank you, Summer. Yeah, that was a lot of information. Dan was right. You packed a lot in there on the follow-up. And yeah, and I hope everyone's getting this. This is just a taste of a little bit of what you would get at the live events. I'm here tonight to get to talk about promoting. It's a skill, it's one of our behaviors, but there is a lot of things to promote, but mostly we attach it to the promotion of events. And that's up to you to bring that value to other people. Like, why is it important? And I think it's ultimately the point of what we do when we go out there and we do these presentations and we talk about follow-up. Yes, it is to transact sales that will pay commissions, but ultimately we're trying to recruit people in our organization that will show up to events. Those are the ones that are going to lead to all those sales. Ultimately, they get transacted and lift up the whole company and pay all those commissions. So what's the real formula and what do you get out of events? I'm going to do two things real quick. I'm going to promote and announce. They're two different things, but I think announcing is important too. So the formula for us was you got to be consistent. One call a week, one event, live event per month. And that's what got us here. I think that's what got most elites or executive consultants and presidentials where they are, right? So a great place where all of this is compiled right now is the buildingdepth.com website. And this is where all the events are compiled. So 3 events in St. George, Utah. Okay, this is my announcement portion of it, spread out over the year, and opportunity to link up and register for those events. Okay, we have an upcoming LifeVantage Academy in 3 different locations: Helena, Montana; Woburn, Mass; Malvern, Pennsylvania; the Philadelphia area; Woburn's in the Boston area. But there's going to be 6 of those next year, plus the 3 Building Depth events. That's 9, and 2 corporate events, one in Las Vegas and Global Convention in Salt Lake City, Utah, that are big live events. That's 11 events. And usually it was December you take off. And some of these are other events that you would qualify for and incentive trips. So basically that is spread out to be 1 event per month, starting in January and going to November. So people usually take December off, or there's some incentive trip or something like that. And you want to be at all those events. And if you can't be at all those LifeVantage Academies, and start an event in your area, pull it together so that you can qualify for one of those. Now, here's the promotion piece of it, where you can bring the value to people. You need, if these events sound like a broken record, then you need to show up with different ears. You need to be there to now learn how to train and deliver these skills, and maybe start your own Super Saturday or an event. You need to realize what the value of each different event is. It's not all the same thing over and over. Those 3 Building Depth events are going to really coalesce your team, you, around a system, a what to do to follow. Very, very, very important, because that allows your team to not be confused when they go to these big corporate events. Now, the big corporate events are different. It gives you the pulse on where the company at large is. And then you do get to hear some kind of how-to type training from different consultants across the company. But because we all kind of do the same thing, but not as many people are coalesced around this system, it allow your team not to get confused. They'll know what container to put that information in. Oh, that sounds like a follow-up. That sounds like a way to gather people, maybe databasing. So those big, large events are going to be something completely different than the Building Depth events. Now, those LifeVantage Academies, while they're really critical, is you have 6 of those. That's 6 opportunities to hear in depth, in a at-length training from an executive distributor, how they applied this system of skills and principles and behaviors to get from point A. They enrolled in LifeVantage with just them, no volume under them, and built to an executive or maybe presidential level position. So that's really important, because you don't get that at the Building Depth event. You get maybe a half-hour or 40-minute training from a single executive on a single skill. But so each one of those events that I went to throughout all my years, it was like pieces of the puzzle falling together for me about how this was done and how people applied their own skills and experience in life to this system and used it to figure out, how am I going to do network marketing, and figure it out. So you need to be at the events. We want to see if folks are serious about doing this. They're going to be at LVA in November, and you're going to be registered for those events next year. 11 events. Put them on your calendar. Be ready to go. With that, I'm going to pass this on to I get to actually introduce the second half of a dynamic duo that I get to introduce the first half of. And this is the better half, only slightly better half, Dave, but the better half of the team, especially at building the culture in the community. And I talked about this like huge group of executives that they've been able to build. These guys really embody to me what building depth is about, this concept of building some serious stability in your business. And a lot of that happens without us if we train people right, if we promote correctly. But these guys were a really important component in all of it. I know all pretty much, yeah, all the people involved, and it wouldn't have gone to the bottom of this really large organization without them. And without a person who makes Colorado feel like home to me whenever I go through there, either with a big group of people like Building Depth or when I'm traveling through with my family. Executive consultant, one of our, founders of this company, Joanne Madison. Joanne, over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much. We appreciate you guys so much. And man, great golden nuggets on this call tonight. I have the topic tonight of overcoming objections. And you guys, I think sometimes we get all up in our head about objections that people have. We got to keep it simple. At the core of all of this, people are thinking about, is it real and can I do this? But the other thing that they're actually assessing is, do they want to hitch their horse to your buggy or vice versa? Like, are you the real deal, or are you going to flake and be gone in 6 months or a year or 5 years, whatever it is? Because if you're not displaying the commitment to your business and what you're offering as far as supporting them, people can feel that. So I want to just encourage you. Now, when Dave and I saw this back in 2009, when LifeVantage was transitioning, at that time, I had a mortgage business. Dave already told you, maybe, no, he didn't, that he was in the heating and air conditioning industry. Well, those were two industries very much tied to the economy. And think back to 2008. Now, look at where we are in our economy today, right? Things are kind of crazy out there. But I needed to get out of the mortgage industry. Dave and I had tried network marketing back in our early 20s. We had failed miserably. We had sworn off the industry. Kind of like Cynthia said, she was peacing out. She was never going to do this industry again. And you're going to find a lot of people like that they just don't have the confidence necessarily in the industry. So as we're doing our presentation, we've got to be sharing with people and overcoming their objections all along in that conversation. Just take it off the table for them. So at the end, when you're asking that question that Summer said, what questions do you have? They're not saying, oh, I have no time, or, oh, I have no money, because you've already addressed the issue of time, that nobody has time. But the other thing I really want to encourage you to be addressing with people is talk about yourself. We're all afraid at the beginning because it's something new. It's something different. It's something unfamiliar. So if you're telling them that this is something that you want to partner with them and link arms with them and do this together with them, that's taking that fear factor of, oh my gosh, I can't possibly know everything that they know, right? That you've got to diffuse all of those things throughout your presentation so that at the end, you're going to get much fewer of the typical objections of, I really have no bandwidth. Well, what's your solution with that? If I could, haven't I shown you a way that you can buy back more time, like Dave was talking about in the very beginning of this call, that people need to get their time back, and that's really what we're offering to people. So figure out a way to infuse what those objections are. I don't have time. I don't have money. I've got to talk to my doctor. Like, are people taking regular vitamins and supplements and showing them a way to transition their wellness dollars into helping themselves and getting a bigger bang for their buck, in that they don't have any money, and that you're talking about them creating generational wealth. We've got to have the ability to paint this picture of something really, really big, which is what this is. And the barrier of entry is so small when they start looking at all the packs. You want people to join you and come in wherever they are. Yeah, the big pack is great, but if they're living less than paycheck to paycheck, understand they might not be able to honestly afford to come in and join your business at that pack. Get them in and move them along to making money right out of the gate. And that is our job, that we've got to have the frequency and be projecting to people that this is real. They can make money. We're all afraid in the beginning. Here's what has happened to me. Here's who I've linked arms with that is helping me on my journey. So whether you're in this 1 minute, 1 day, 1 month, or 10 or 15 years, like Dave and I, that you're conveying the right message for them, that they want to feel like they're truly missing out if they don't go on this journey with you. I mean, it was a common phrase that we're going to get them in the wash, or we're going to get them in the rinse, right? And now here we are, we're in the rinse cycle, you guys, that people are circling back around. And especially now with all the things that are happening with LifeVantage, don't be afraid to go back and revisit people in your organization that may not be moving forward, and tell them of the exciting things that you don't want them to miss moving forward with where you're headed with LifeVantage. You want them to come along too. So I could talk forever, but anyways, I'm going to turn it over to Bert, who's going to talk to you tonight about the invite, because without inviting people to hear this information, you really don't have a business at all. So Bert is right up the road from me. We've been on this adventure for the last 16 years together, and we
Yes.
have made tons of memories, and I so appreciate him and all his wisdom. Take it away, Bert.
Thank you, Jojo. Man, this has been a great call tonight, you guys. I'll tell you what, there's just, we try to make it easy for you to learn, and that's what the key is. I get to talk about inviting, but first I'm going to share a little bit about my story. I thought I was on top of the world, you guys, back in the 2000s. I had was very successful. I was selling tow trucks, and I thought I was on top of the world. I built my dream home in Parker, Colorado, and we had all the toys, the boats, the wheelers, the Jeep. We had all the fun stuff. Okay, and lo and behold, late 2000s, 2008, 9, and 10, the economy just took a dump. And housing was 23% interest rates. It was incredible. um I thought I was going to lose everything. I thought I had totally lost the way to take care of my family. It was scared me to death. Okay. um But LifeVantage came along. A good friend of mine introduced me to LifeVantage, and I got to meet all these wonderful people that are lifelong friends now through LifeVantage. This is our family. This is our business, and we just love what we're doing. And it saved everything. I thought I was going to lose everything. It saved everything, you guys. So this is an opportunity for you to change your life. Okay. Been in network marketing quite all the time. Throughout my life, I was always dabbling in it and working in it. And, I made a little bit of money, but I never, ever had the success in any other company that we've had in LifeVantage. So, guys, our compensation plan, our products, one of a kind, products that are changing the world as we speak. Okay, that's totally incredible. But, I get to talk a little bit about Invite tonight. And Invite is, we make it so much harder than it should be. Invite is very simple and easy, you guys. You're having a conversation. Okay, just start talking with somebody and find out what their wants, needs, and desires are. Do you think everybody's happy in this world right now today? No way. They are looking for avenues. They are looking for that next way to make a few bucks to help them take care of their family. Okay. And we make this so hard on an invite. Um, the biggest thing you want to do is keep it simple and fun, right? You're talking to family and friends and strangers. I don't have any strangers anymore. I've learned to just talk to people and have a conversation and find out what their wants, needs, and desires are in this world, you guys. Do you think people are happy with their work situations today? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They're not. So ask them, if I could show you a way to improve your financial situation in life, could we sit down and have a cup of coffee for 30 minutes or so? I'd love to share some great information with you on a new technology that I'm bringing to the area. Can we sit down and talk? Okay, and find out what they need, what they want, if they're happy with their quality time with their family, if they're unhappy with it, or where they stand in life. Okay. Um, and I love the if I could, because that just means you're reaching out to them. If I could show you something that could change the quality in your life, could we sit down for 30 minutes or so? Okay. If I could show you a way to have more time with your family, could you give me 30 minutes of your time? And okay, great. Today or tomorrow, ask them. Put that in there. Make sure you ask them and set the appointment today or tomorrow. What's best for you? Okay. You can even go down and get to the hour in there. 2 to 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Does one of those times work for you? And be quiet. Okay. So many times you want to keep talking. You got to be quiet and listen. Because they're thinking, hey, well, 2 or 4 o'clock, lives are busy right now. Kids are got sports and schools and all of that stuff. So absolutely imperative. And just have fun. How do you start off your conversation? Hi. Can you do that? Hi, guys. What's happening in your life? Are you happy with where you're at right now? Okay. So just make sure you keep it simple and easy, and try to do 2 invites a day, you guys. Just a minimum of 2 invites a day. Just calling somebody off of your list, find out what's going on in their life. Um, can we sit down for 20, 30 minutes? I got to share a new technology that I found. It's incredible. You're going to love it. Give me 30 minutes of your time. We'll have some fun. Okay. So that's all I did when I got started, you guys. And I just did it over and over and over. And I got better and better and better at it. Okay. Um, Now that's so have fun with it, enjoy it, and grow your business, you guys. So I get to share. This is a beautiful young lady who, when she got started in this business, she didn't have any time with her family. She had to try to make time in between her job and 12-hour shifts, if I'm not mistaken, right? Candy is just a phenomenal leader. She's blossomed just phenomenally, and she's going to teach you some really, really good things tonight. Candy, it's all yours, sweetheart.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Bert. You guys, first off, I want all of you to light up the chat because, like, I am in awe every time I hear this group of leadership speak. So give them your love, give them your gratitude because they don't have to be here. They want to be here because they want to pour into you and help empower you and help elevate you. So, like Bert said, my name's Candy Kreslak, just a little short version of my story. I'm from Montana. I have 4 kids, married to my high school sweetheart. And I was working as a registered nurse before I found LifeVantage. And I was working a lot of hours, 60, 70, 80 hours a week, depending on the week. And I was exhausted. Nobody had ever shared a network marketing company with me. Can you believe that? Like, think of the people in your life that are exhausted, that are just sick and tired of being sick and tired. You guys, I was so tired emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. I needed to change something in my life. I was struggling with my health. I didn't have any time with my family, but I didn't know how, because when people are surviving and they're living in that hamster wheel and they have no bandwidth, they can't see past the blinders. They don't have hope. They don't have a vision of what their future could look like when they can barely get through their day and they can barely get out of bed. So think about those people and make sure that you meet them where they're at. I said yes to this because I saw an opportunity to get time back in my life with my family. It wasn't to do, the reason I said yes had nothing to do with the products. Did I see the products and the science? Yes. The ABC primetime blew my mind, and I knew that I would be able to help a lot of people by sharing that information. But I said yes for so many different reasons, and it's evolved to so much more. I walked away from my job as a registered nurse. I got my life back, I got my health back, but most important, I got my purpose and who I am to be able to help thousands of people with this vehicle that we're a part of. Like the vision of LifeVantage, to be able to actually be a voice for people until they find their own, and to empower them to become the best version of themselves, and to be able to pour into people like that until they blossom and shine and they find their purpose. Like that's the most rewarding part about this for me. And I get to talk about always do what you say you're going to do. You guys, I love this topic. I think that it is so, so important. And it starts from the second you share this information with somebody, right? It starts from the second you send an invite with somebody and you set up a meeting, and you don't cancel those meetings and you don't change those meetings. You guys, people won't follow you if you don't do what you say you're going to do. They won't respect you if you don't do what you say you're going to do. Like that is so important. And I remember working as a registered nurse for so many years that people, when I worked in the medical field, a lot of my career was in the operating room. And if you said you were going to do something, you had to do it. There's no way you could not do it, because if you didn't show up for the patient who was on the operating room table, like that's going to be a really bad situation, right? So I didn't know, it was hard for me to understand when I got into this industry how many people are not a people of their word. That was a really hard realization for me, you guys. But if you want to make it to the executive ranks in this business, you have to be a person of your word. You have to start showing up for yourself. You have to be a person of your word for yourself and for other people. Because if you tell somebody you're going to do something, and you know what, we all make mistakes too. I want you to know that we're all human. There's been times that maybe I wrote something wrong on my calendar, or that there's been times in my life that I really didn't want to do something, so I didn't do it. Have you guys ever done that? If that happens, take accountability for it and own up to it and do better every single day, because you got to show up. You got to show up for yourself, and you got to show up for other people. So I know it's running over time, so I get to hand it back to one of my favorite people. Chris and his wife have inspired me so much in this business, and that just the leadership that they have and just the people that they are. And I am so thankful that they're a part of the Building Depth community. I'm going to hand it back to Chris.
Oh, thank you, Candy. And tremendous call tonight. And yeah, I give great credit to where we are because of the people we're surrounded with. You guys lift us up and have lifted us up. We were, again, really fortunate to, as I started off to say at the call tonight, to come into this industry in a company like LifeVantage. Nothing special about me, but a really great product, a really great culture in this company, really great leadership here that keeps showing up for us, like Marcel, like Blue Elam. In a lot of cases, they probably don't have to, but a lot of the time they donate now really comes through this forum to us. We should all feel very, very fortunate that we get their time. With that, I'm going to hand this over to someone to close this call out this evening and kind of transition into our roadmap call, hopefully to inspire some accelerated action from people to get to these executive ranks. And this person that's going to close the call for us tonight has demonstrated that leadership, those leadership qualities, not just in the action and the results behind it, but in character. And that character can be seen in this man's family. You look at his family, and not only their ability to overcome obstacles, but the things that they accomplish on the other side of those obstacles, a reflection of that kind of character it takes, and also the action, I guess, that people have to put behind what they do. So I think that's very appropriate because we do want to kind of inspire some action from the people on this call tonight. So with that, I want to move this over to a mentor to many of us on this call, many of us in this company that we are forever grateful for. I and my wife are as well. He's in our direct line of sponsorship and has been very, very critical in our growth and our journey to where we are in this company. And that would be presidential consultant Blue Elam. Blue, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Over to you.
Okay, we got a lot of people here. I'll just take a second tonight, guys. I've just caught the tail end of this call, and it's been amazing. I'm so impressed with the quality of the leaders that are willing to take their time and share with you guys. They don't have to, and they do, and it just means something. They do what they say they're going to do. They follow through. They've committed to you guys, and they're here. And it's just the world's full of people, and not everyone does that. I've been involved with a lot of groups, and I am so impressed with this specific group on their willingness to do that. So all you guys that spoke tonight, thank you. Those that are on the call for the first time, thank you. Guests, we appreciate it. And then all of the consultants that just take the time and stay up late if you're on the East Coast and make this part of your routine. I just want to tell you guys thanks to start with. So the reason I got on late is I had a youth group over here. We built some team building stuff in our house, an axe throwing room and things like that. Some of you guys have been able to come here and then participate from winning pieces of, different events. We've had probably 5 different types of events, a couple with Building Depth where people can come and just hang out with us and be part of what we have here. And we feel blessed, and it's fun to see other people come and participate. So tonight was a big youth group, and I wasn't sure if they were going to leave in time. I didn't want to push them out, but I also wanted to be here with you guys. So I'm glad it worked out. But I wasn't able to get on early enough to hear everyone. So I apologize. But I just have a quick thought. And in this roadmap concept, I think up till now, we've done everything from just inspire to sharing details, and we've had you guys check your back office. We've shared the points, we've shared the dates, we've shared the concept. But here, let me just give you a thought. Why do you think this one got our attention? And Marcel said, "Hey, let's train how to get there, and let's continue to do add this to the call and push people that want to go. Let's help them to get there." And I thought about that a lot today, because we have a lot of incentives, but we don't do that with every single one of them. And I'm not saying don't go for each incentive, but there are times where the incentives have lined up with everything we teach. And it's ones that we get excited about, because we don't, and I say we maybe as a general I'll just say, I don't like to personally go change a strategy to hit something and then wait for the next promotion and try to change a strategy. It never gets down to your group deep enough. By the time you get it down to the end of the group, the promotion's over, and you start it again and the promotion's over. Now, I'm not saying don't hit the promotions. I'm just saying that there's times where what you should be doing and are already doing, and what you've been taught week after week after week on this call, lines up specifically or exactly with what should be done. And we can push a strategy that's not different. It's not chanting a different voice. When I hear you guys chant the same skill sets and beliefs and things that are 50 levels down. I did the math one time. There was somebody, I forget how many it was, but I went down and I literally just checked and said, I just heard somebody say something in my group, and it was so far down, you guys. It was leader backed by leader, backed by leader, backed by leader, who taught something, who taught someone else. And they were chanting the same message, same consistent message all the way through the group. And when you have that consistency, it's powerful. We have recently been on calls with this new company and some of their leaders. And I have been impressed with the leaders on this call who have stood up and just said things like, I'm not changing what I'm doing. I'm not going to confuse my team. We're going to do what we've always done, which is X, Y, and Z. And guess what? It works. It continues to build and allows us, in this case, to go to Thailand if you continue to do those things, right? If you continue to do those things, this one lines up. So we're getting close, right? The qualification is by the end of the month, and then you hold it again in December, and then so you have those 2 months by the end of the year. For those that to hit EC1 for the first time, and then everyone else has hopefully been watching points and things like that. There will become a time when I hope people don't say, "Oh, I'm not going to make it, so I'm just going to stop or wait," or whatever thought process. The beauty is, no matter how close you got or can get, because there's a lot of month left, you guys. There will be people. We've seen people hit a lot of volume, a lot of points very quickly. So I'll just say, keep going, keep pushing, because the beauty is in the compensation. The beauty is in what you're going to get long term. The trip is a bonus, right? Maybe put a quick message or a one. If you guys went to Africa, put a quick thought or message on just scale of 1 to 10, that type of experience compared to other vacations you've been on. I would love to get your feedback, because I have been all over the world. We've chased Raylene's dreams all over the now I say world, not just country, literally all over the world. And that trip still completely impressed me. LifeVantage knows how to do it right. They know how to make you feel good. They know how to have a good time. They know how to build camaraderie at the same time. And this trip will be like that. And so we went through a lot of the details in the past. I don't know tonight with that group here, I was prepared to give you specifics, but the reality is just this. I wouldn't tell you anything different than the principles and behaviors that we just taught. That is how you get on the trip, right? Now, you want to set goals and find out what's left, get on your back office, look at the points. Hopefully you've mapped out from day one a course to get there, and you might be a little behind, you might be ahead, you might have already qualified. Great. If you're not there yet, you might have to remap it from now to the end of the month, change your pace a little bit. I'll never say you're done, probably until 2 days after the event, but till the closing date, because there's amazing things that take place, and I'm not going to ever limit that. But I will say that it can change your life. For me, I'll just say this. It is the last place that I got to go with my daughters when they were walking and running and playing before the accident and before they were paralyzed. We went on a trip, and I felt inspired to bring them. They had already been on a trip right before that, and typically I swap and take different kids to different trips, and I felt like I needed to take them. And so I have photos of my 2 daughters, my wife and I, helping with Operation Smiles. I think we did 105 operations in 4 days for kids with cleft palates, and that couple of kids had boiling water and oil thrown on them when they were little, and they had skin problems, and just devastation. And some of these parents, you guys, would come in with 8 kids from their village, and we had to check them in, and we're like, well, what's this kid's name? And they're like, that's Jimbo or whatever. And they didn't even, I said, what's his last name? They said, we don't know. What's his real name? We don't know. Who's his parents? Well, their names, and they gave us a name, but there was no, if somebody was going to travel that far to go to, to this place, they were going to send them. And you guys, there's such good memories. And when I hear that where we're going and what we're doing, it's powerful. And you guys were just trained again tonight as to what to do to get there. Those types of things, I hope people will run harder for something like this than they do the comp plan. I do. I hope they realize the comp plan is what will continue to support them long term. And I've seen people run harder for a t-shirt than I think they probably should. If that's a trick, great. Run hard as you can, get on the trip, enjoy it, and come home and also enjoy the comp plan. Because to me, the changes in your lifestyle will be because the comp plan continues to play you over and over and over every single month, not just for one trip. But pushing for a trip will help you to get there. Thailand's awesome. You've heard the principles to get there. Set goals. You might have to reevaluate between now and the end of the month. Look how many points you have, or your pace on track or not to hit EC1, and redo those. Redo it. And I saw somebody, Cynthia, you just put 15 presentations a month. I will challenge that to say, Most of you to go on this trip will not be doing a presentation every other day. I guarantee that's not the pace now. If you're going to go hit it by the end, it's a different pace. Okay, you're going to be the ones where we had months, you guys, where we would challenge each other, we would text each other back and forth, 120, 125 house meetings. How do you do that a month, right? Because we would do breakfast, lunch, we had dinners, we had times where we sat in a restaurant, right? And we would bring 5 people in, we have a meeting, we bring 5 more and have a meeting. I remember one time the lady was like, I think I had 6 lemonade refills at one table, and groups were just coming. And then the other group came in and sat at a different table. I picked my stuff up and went over to another table, and I had to close out my bill 3 different times because I had I guess I sat in a different waitress's zone or whatever, and they had to restart me a new tab for that other area. That was a different pace, and it's going to take that right now if that's what you're looking at doing. And I would do it. I would do it because, one, it's an awesome place. For me, it's very personal and fun, and we'll share some of that. Number 2, if whether you hit it or not, you're going to change your life if you just push and learn that pace and learn what it takes. And if you can get on this trip and create those memories and have a little taste of that lifestyle, you guys, it will push you and drive you and give you a chance to continue to do so. Reevaluate, look at the points. It takes a second to look online to see all the qualifications, but I'm going to say this: if you're going to do anything, do the 5 principles and behaviors. Do not change those. You may have to quicken the pace and up the ante and put in more time to do those, but that is the process. We would not be teaching this on this call if we were to say, oh, by the way, let's go do something different after the training you just heard every single week. So I hope that helps a little bit, you guys. You guys are all on track, I'll say that way, even though it might be different than the track we originally set up. Reevaluate, let us know if we can help. LVAs are coming up, you guys. There's places to get to. Build towards those events to hit your goals for the trip as well. So take all that in. Chris, thank you guys for the nice words tonight, and appreciate everything. And you guys, thanks for staying up with us. This is an amazing chance to hear from this level of leadership, this many leaders that just want to pour into you and give you that. Leave you with this thought: the things and this came from the event, right? The things you do for yourself, you guys, they're gone when you go. The things you do for others, it will live a legacy, because it will continue to be passed down and passed down and passed down. And if you learn to build your business that way, this will become a legacy type income. If you do everything yourself and you don't train, you don't mentor, you don't pass the information down like these leaders did tonight, you will be doing it until you're gone, and then your business will die with you. And that's maybe a weird way to look at it, but it is absolutely true. When you learn to first do the work, right? Learn it, do it, and then teach it. If you'll learn that process, you will end up in a position where you're not just doing your 15 presentations a month, but there's hundreds and hundreds of presentations every month happening in your group because you taught someone else to do them. You helped them do them. You mentored them to be a leader so that they felt comfortable doing them, so that your business didn't rely on just the hours that you had to spend. Because when we were in an accident and we ended up in the hospital, if everything relied on our time that we were able to spend, there was months, you guys, where we had to deal with life. And if your business stops every time life happens, you will not have the consistent income that you're thinking this will allow you to bring, unless you allow others to grow, find their strengths, believe in them until they believe in themselves. It's all of those things. But when you do that and you have enough people in an organization doing what you used to do, right? And I say used to in a general way, not that you're done and you check the box, you're done. But what I'm saying is, you may go out and start enrolling and doing things and behaviors when other people are teaching, and all of those behaviors need to happen at once. And if you pass that down, you're handing not just one fishing pole, not just a fish, not just a fishing pole. You're handing out 10 fishing poles to someone who can go show 9 other people how to use them, right? And that's how you have the exposure rate that's needed to hit the ranks, the EC1 rank, and to hit these trips and to get where you need to go. You have to not just catch the fish. First, you have to catch a fish and learn how. Then not just hand one pole, hand them 10 poles, teach them how to teach someone else to teach. And there's a completely different process to that. And it's a longer call than we have for tonight. But thank you all. Love you. Appreciate the time. And I hope to see you guys in March. And we'll be sitting on the backs of elephants together, taking photos and saying we did it. It's going to be a blast. So, all right, guys, we'll see you. Chris, thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Blue. Good night, all.